And welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Oh, as I should. There we go. Welcome back to qualifier number 2 for PAX Australia, PAX Arena StarCraft 2 Championships. Welcome. Welcome, of course. I'm your host, Light VIP. For now, I am all but alone. I'll be later joined by Yaku. This time, he took my advice when it came to going to bed and staying in bed. And hopefully, he won't be dead by the time he joins me for the cast. So, he would be joining me in a series or two, I'm sure. So, I won't be alone for long. But for now, I'm not alone either. I have two lovely players before me, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the player who eluded us yesterday. He wasn't a part of the first qualifier, but he is here in qualifier number 2, the Australian Zerg player representing Opus V. It is Peppy. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing his old clan 1F Pro. It is Aconsises. Let's go. Oh my god, everyone, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket, because the bracket is absolutely insane. And it's going to be an interesting night here. There are a couple of really interesting round 1 matches. There was Asherbro versus Ozprotos. There's Starduck versus Runamuck, and I was really contemplating whether or not we should cast that. And there's also this one, Peppy versus Acon. So I kind of left it up to the players, you know, Peppy versus Acon or Starduck versus Runamuck, whichever was ready first. We went for Peppy in the end. And I'm really excited because he is basically the player that was missing yesterday. Like, all the top tier players, all the boys, all the Australian players were here yesterday in the first qualifier, duking it out as hard as they could. But Peppy wasn't. He was a little bit MIA. I think he was, unfortunately, he was a little bit busy. I don't know if it was work related or he had other prior commitments, but he wasn't there in the first qualifier. Even though Peppy is, you know, one of the best players in our country or in the region. So because of that, he's now here, and seeding wise, it makes things a little bit harder for Oreo. Oreo is waiting for the winner of this series. And as much as I praise Oreo for being the best Zerg player in Australia, Peppy is a close second. There's a time where he was probably the best Zerg as well. Very strong player indeed. So, oh boy. Definitely one of the favorites coming into this qualifier, not gonna lie. But, of course, he has his opponent first in front of him here. Acon is no pushover either. He's become a regular in ANZ Champs in his own right. You know, he hasn't had as much success as some of these other players, but he has been around for a very long time nonetheless. So, yeah, I'm sure a very solid TVZ ahead of us. So far, pretty standard opener. We do have our racks expand. We do have the Reaper coming across the map just to poke, just to prod, just to harass the Queen a little bit as best they can. And we can see that Acon has decided to go for a 1-1-1 opener. No third CC before Starport here. So a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less economic. Looking at the vision of Peppy, his Overlord is here outside the natural, not outside the main. So he's going to have a hard time scouting here, especially with this Marine denying him any entry into the main. So Peppy's going to be a little bit in the dark, and I'm curious how Acon has adapted to the current meta. We do see a tech lab on that rack, so I doubt we're going to be seeing a BC opener. We can still see an add-on switch, but if it's an add-on switch, it usually is for Banshees, not for BCs, as, ooh, we do not. We have a Viking first instead. Interesting. So we're going to have continued Helium production. We're going to have a Marine production. Stim is going to be on the way. And this is going to be a great way to, again, just deny scouting, deny vision. The Hellions reveal themselves, so Peppy knows fully well that it's not going to be a 2-1-1 opener or anything like that. And, ooh, I was focusing a lot on what Acon's opener was, for a good reason, but Peppy on the other side of things is going wild, mate. He has been going for a hatch gas pool opener. His third base is on time, on the way. He has been droning. He's getting a safety Bailey Nest, but before the Bailey Nest, Peppy didn't pull out of gas. He's going for a fast lair. So link speed straight into that lair. This could be for a couple of things. There are some players that enjoy going for faster layers just to go for a faster bailing speed, but I feel like this is a little bit more nefarious than that. I say that, but we actually don't have any additional gases being taken, so I'm curious here what the plan is for Peppy, what he plans to do here with this fast lair. By the time this lair finishes, we don't have enough gas for a Spire, and we haven't taken any more gases either. Interesting. Meanwhile, checking across the map, it looks like the Viking was able to hunt down that Overlord in the end. A couple of Hellions gonna try and traverse between these bases here, trying to clear up whatever creep they can. And there it is, Baneling Speed has started. So yeah, this is a bit of an older style. It is, in a way, a safer style. I say a safer style. We could be seeing a Bane bust coming out from Peppy, Hyper Aggression. What we're delaying here to get this fast Baneling Speed is Evo Chambers. We don't have 1-1 at all on the way, not a single upgrade, just straight up Ling Bane. Peppy is droning up quite nicely, and there we go. Additional gases are now being taken, I imagine, to get into our upgrades. So yeah, Peppy going for a very interesting opener. Back across the map, likewise, we do have a couple more Raxes. Ooh, 2 more Raxes being thrown down here. So 5 Raxes on 2 bases, only a single NG bay as well. No third CC. This is looking like a very committed 2-base push coming out from Acon. And the scary thing is that Peppy hasn't seen this. Now, it's possible that Peppy, like, the Australian scene is very tight-knit, it is very close amongst all these players, and it's very possible that Peppy is aware of Acon's play, and that's why he rushed out Baneling Speed. Like, again, this is going to be such an incredibly, like, an incredible defensive tool here against any kind of aggression, having Bane Speed as quickly as possible. So because of that, Peppy may be anticipating something like this. We did have a spotter link here. It does spot the move out of the main army. Peppy knows not to drone up. He's up to 61 workers, and he will stay at 61 for the remainder of this game, at least until Acon lets up that aggression. And Ling Bane is what we need here for Peppy. Oh boy, he doesn't reconfirm whether or not this is a 2-base all-in, but here we go. Lings are on the way. The queens are being moved into position. Looking at the unit stat, we have 9 queens in total. That is ideal here for the defense. 2 tanks are going to be sieging up here and at a decent position, but it's day to see. We're pushing up a ramp. We're pushing up into this triangular third where, honestly, it can be pretty easy to defend. We have plenty of energy for transfuse. The Lings, the Banelings are ready, and they're going to roll on in. Already, so many of these Hellions do go down. We're going to be holding off here, though. We're going to be making another wave of Banelings, but here we go. The Ling Bane does engage with the army, and the splits are good. But I don't know if it's really going to be good enough here. It looks like there are a handful of Marines left. There are still 3 tanks, but there's not a lot to protect them. Reinforcements are coming in across the map. It looks like Peppy is going to give up this base. Oh my god. A little bit of miscontrol here. Peppy is going to lose 2 of his queens. Oh, just being a little bit too overly ambitious with them. The boys are pulled, though. Ling Bane is coming in once again, and as amazing as this push is, there just isn't enough to protect these tanks. Finally, the Lings get on top of them, the Banelings get on top of them. Every single tank is going to go down. The push has been repelled. Again, Peppy being very patient with his play. He didn't even lose his base, by the way. I thought maybe he would lose his 3rd, but no, his 3rd is alive. He has his 4th. He just rerouted all of his units, and now Acon forced to back off, lick his wounds, and there is that 3rd CC. Oh, this is a bit of a shameful 3rd CC. He did not intend for this 3rd CC to be built, but after his push was deflected, he was forced to throw it down. This is very, very late. We have a 2-base Terran up against a 4-base Zerg, and Peppy has weathered the storm. 1-1 now kicking in. Spire on the way. Peppy is more of an old school player. He's not really one to go Ling Bane Hydra into Lurker. That's not really his thing. Mutas are how he wants to play this out. And honestly, it's not a bad choice, especially because he has a lot of freedom right now. He deflected the first kind of moves of aggression, and Acon isn't going to be moving out anytime soon. So Peppy has the freedom to bank up resources, bank up minerals, bank up gas, wait for that massive influx of mutas. Meanwhile, he's just droning on up. We're up to that 73 drone count. We can take a 5th base. We can go all the way up to 80 drones if we really wanted to. We don't want to be overly greedy, of course, but we do still have a Ling Bane army available that can deflect any kind of push. The creep spread is good enough that it will slow down anything as well. Acon is aware of this, so he's going to have to set up at home and instead go for some drops. As I say that, the drop is intercepted. The Marines are here, the Banelings are here as well. The drop isn't going to be able to do too much. It does shave off a decent amount of Lings, don't get me wrong. And even here, more Lings are going to go down. So these are efficient. Oh, the Banelings actually don't come they don't fully come down to low ground. So these are as efficient trades as possible here for Acon. So I don't want to take away from that. But we don't really want to be trading army for army. We want to be trading army for economy right now. We want to slow down Peppy because he's up to that high drone count. He's working on the infestation pit. Spire is done. Mutas are on the way. And with the arrival of these mutas, these drops, they kind of have a little bit of they don't have that much longevity to them. They will be shut down. As I say that, the mutas are en route to go for these medevacs. Thankfully for Acon, these Marines, they were already dead anyway. It is a painful loss here to lose these medevacs, but we have another double drop here on the right-hand side instead. Peppy has spotted it, by the way. Lings are moving in position. Mutas are still on the left-hand side. They did clear up those drops. It looks like they are going for some economic damage instead. So there is potential here for this double drop, but Acon, he shows up, and unfortunately there was no base here. It does clear out a little Lings though. Mutas, they dip in, they're just containing Acon. At least he gets his third base up and running. And I mean, on the side of Acon, what he needs to do is what he's doing. He's just turtling up here on 3 bases with his tanks, with his SimCity, bunkers, Marines. He's trying to be active with the double drop. Unfortunately, he can't really do too much here with the double drop just because of the mutas. And there we go. Very careful micro from Peppy. He shuts down at these medevacs. Does lose 1 muta for his troubles. 1 muta for 2 medevacs. It's a trade worth going for. And now Peppy has full map control. He has creep literally touching tips, touching the bases of Acon. Taking a 4th base is going to be a task, to say the least. Peppy has to be careful, though. We don't want to be pushing into this defensive line, into these tanks, widow mines, turrets, and bunkers. We have to respect the 3rd base. We definitely do, but the Marines are having a hard time keeping up with the rotations. Another tank is going to go down. Widow mine shot does connect with the mutas, but only a single Widowmine shot, and 1 shot is not going to be enough. Turrets in the main base are going to go down. SCVs are going to go down as well. At the same time, Lings are rolling on 4 to try and deny this planetary. Ooh. As they do connect with the tanks, with the base itself. Muta's still dancing between the 3rd and the main. And Acon just doesn't have the numbers. He's being spread too thin. He just doesn't have enough. It all comes down to the opener. He was going for a 2-base all-in, and typically when your 2-base all-in doesn't deal enough damage or any damage, then it's just a really rough road to recovery. Peppy has had full map control ever since that first push, and the 4th CC goes down. Acon is going to try and double expand from here. I don't blame him. You know, you have to do something in this position. You know, his tank count is still okay. His Marine count is okay as well. But Peppy, he's got his hive. We have adrenal glands on the way. We can go into an ultra cavern if we really wanted to. We can take up into a greater spire. We just see Thor's on the way. So Acon is trying to transition into mass anti-air to deal with the mutas. But what about the Ling main? As the mutas once again dancing between the bases. Not the best trade either. I think we just lost 2 mutas here for 4 SCVs. So not amazing, but what is amazing is the Ling Bane. We see the bases being taken. We see the Widowmine shot being baited out by a single Ling. Ugh, there is that cancel on one of the CCs, and we should be seeing a cancel on the other. And that was a kill, not a cancel. Aye. The base does end up falling. The creep is just literally all over Acon right now. There's only 1 base to be taken. Peppy is honestly having a really great warm-up right now. You know, he is happy to just chill, macro, max out, deny base time and time again. Why? Because it's 11 a.m. It's worse than 11 a.m. because we have daylight savings here, so really it should have been 10 a.m. So, you know, Peppy's just waking up. He's just making sure that he's alert, he's present, he is here in StarCraft as best he can be. And now he's pulling the trigger, diving on top of the Thors, and this looks to be the last hurrah. We do have 2 Thors behind this. Oh my god, the Widowmine shots go off. Every single muta is going to go down. But despite that, we still got plenty of Ling Bane. We still got 3-3 on the way, plus 1 carapace. Do we have an Ultra Cap? Do we have any other tech? Currently, we do not. Just Ling Bane Muta. I mean, again, we don't need anything else. Like, really what's keeping Acon alive are his Widow Mines and his tanks here at the 3rd base. But over time, this can be whittled down. This can eventually be eroded to the point where there is almost nothing left. Oh boy, Peppy is just getting ready for that moment. As I say it, there it is. Ultra Cavern is thrown down as well. This does lend really well to the upgrade path of Peppy because we already have melee 3-3 on the way to help affect those ultras. And even though we have a great defensive line, ultras are a great way of busting that because of how thick and tanky they are. Oof. Meanwhile, you know, we're just spreading creep. Yeah. We just want the purple. Sorry, we want the map to be purple. Lane Bane rolls on in, and honestly, he could just click on the CC if he wanted to. There it is. He does click on said CC. It falls immediately. We are knocked down to 2 bases. Acon trying to get his 4th. Now throw it up and running. Even the factory goes down. Acon just fighting his heart out right now. He wants to try and hold on for as long as he can. Draw it out as much as he can, and again, you know, defensively, like, hey, he was able to reset the mute account, and I'm sure, to be fair, like, the win condition for him would have been if Peppy had rebuilt those mutas, then there would have been a chance for another fight to go that way, where he, again, the mutas, they bunch up, they take Widowmine shots to the face, and they all go down. Unfortunately, Peppy didn't do that. We have Ling Bane to replace him instead of mutas, and yeah, the 4th is no more, the 3rd is no more, the natural has almost been broken, it is on fire, it has been broken, GG gets called, and Peppy takes the first game. GG. And what a game that was. Again, a very strong showing by Peppy. We kind of talked about it, even though the game did go on a little bit longer. It all came down to that 2-base all-in from Acon. He did trade like fairly well, and he was like sieging upon the 3rd base of Peppy, but he needed to at least kill the 3rd. And I say at least kill the 3rd. He needed to kill the 3rd, kill some more queens, and kill some drones at least, or maybe even just end the game. Like, that was a very committed push, and he got 2 queens and just a bunch of Ling Bane for it, and that's just, it's not worth it. Not worth it, papi. Ay. So Peppy flexing a little bit here in the first game, but again, both players are amazing in their own right. Acon is amazing in his own right. There's a reason why he's been a regular in ANZ Champs, because he is one of the best players in Australia. One of the top 12, I would say, and yeah, he still has a chance here to bring it back. Oh boy. So let's get things underway. It looks like the lobby is being made. Oh. And I wonder what the vetoes were. I wonder what game 2 is going to be. Oh, as I now have the answer to that. It is going to be Tropical Sacrifice. Interesting veto process. So game 1, Data C. Game 2, Tropical Sacrifice. 2 maps that are very defensive, 2 maps that are much more macro oriented, and that's why coming back to game 1, I was a little bit perplexed as to why Acon went for a 2-base all-in on Data C. It isn't really a map that lends to that. Data C, because of the ramps, because of the choke points, because of the rush distance, it's just not really ideal for that kind of play. So maybe he was going for more of a surprise factor kind of plan. I hope he doesn't do that again here. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Australian Zerg player himself representing Team Opus V, leading the series 1-0. It is Peppy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Australian Terran player himself representing his old clan 1F Pro. It is Aconsises. Aconsises? Aconsises? God, I remember casting ANZ Champs with Pilsky and with Zeph and with Fluke, and every single time we casted Acon, we were like, how do you pronounce it? Is it Aconsises or Aconsises? I don't know. Yeah. I just call him Acon. It's so good. Oh. And yeah, we are getting into our second game here. Tropical Sacrifice, arguably the more, or maybe even the most defensive map in the map pool. I guess there are different like factors that come into play. You know, you could make arguments for Moondance and Stargazers because of the easier 3rd and 4th bases that you can take. But likewise, Tropical Sacrifice, because of these ramps, because of these choke points, because of the side blockers, we bring it up all the time. Like, it does kind of lead towards more macro late game scenarios. And I'm kind of excited for that because I want to see what Acon can do if he gets a 3rd base on time. you know, if he isn't committed to 2-base play, you know, can he, like, what does he have to offer in a longer macro game here against Peppy? it is still going to be kind of an uphill battle. Peppy has a lot of notoriety. He has a lot of legacy behind him. He has a lot of experience as well. He's, you know, been competing at the highest level for a very long time. So it is still going to be a difficult ask for Akon, but it's an ask that I at least want to see anyway. You know, I want to see how he compares and how he can maybe make Peppy bleed. Until then, we'll see. We do have an SCV across the map here at the linear third. We have the Reaper headed straight to the natural as well. So Akon doing a great job at being as annoying as possible. It looks like we're going to get a kill on this SCV, but up! Oh, we get a kill on the drone as well. Akon, very annoying play here, but he gets here just in time. We have another drone on the way to try and retake that third. It looks like he will head over towards the triangular third base instead. And this is already a nice start for Akon, forcing Peppy to have his third base delayed. Peppy, he needs to go for it. No, he left it idle a little bit too long. Once again, the gas geyser is denied and the drone is going to go down. Meanwhile, third drone moves out. Finally, Peppy takes his third, but this is a very late third. Thankfully, Peppy did kind of adapt, you know, he's making overlords. Didn't have a third or fourth queen on the way, though. Interesting. And he didn't want his third base to be delayed that much, but yeah, again, a really good start here for Akon. We have a kill on this overlord supply, blocking Peppy a little bit. Looking at the vision, Peppy was able to confirm, okay, just like last game, 1-1-1 opener. It isn't going to be a fast third TC, which means maybe I want to go for a fast Baneling Nest again. As Akon is actually making a massive wave of Lings. Interesting. It looks like he wants to try and wait for the Hellions to move out and try and slip into the natural base to deal some counter damage. So again, Peppy feels like he is behind after the opener, and he is, don't get me wrong. So he wants to try and deal some equalizing damage. Here we go. The Hellions, they move out. They were spotted here by Peppy, and now the natural is very exposed. Akon this time, he is going for a fusion core, still going for the add-on swap though, so he is going to be going for a BC opener. But oh god, the Lings, they get in, they get us surrounded with the Hellions. Oh no, the Hellions, they go down. The Hellions on the map turn around to try and rush back home, but it's a little bit too late. The SCVs are falling here. The wall was not a wall. Akon was not ready for this counterattack. Oh my god, the main was compromised as well. And Peppy, this is getting a little bit too out of hand. 8 SCVs go down. We see a full scout as well. Looking at the vision of these Lings, the opener has been scattered. The fusion core, the second starport. Oh my god, this is so Looking at the vision of Peppy, he doesn't see the fusion core, but he sees the second starport. This is 2-port BC, Papi. Akon, you disgust me. But I love you as well. So Peppy has all the scouting information he needs. This would have been disastrous if this went unscouted, by the way. So thankfully, because of the delayed third, he felt pressured to have some Ling aggression. And because of it, because the wall wasn't a wall, which was a slip up by Akon, Peppy is able to get ready. We have more spores on the way. We have queens on the way. Looking at the queen count, we have 3. We're about to have 5. I think we need more spores. I have to wonder, did Peppy put 2 and 2 together here? Looking at his vision, again, he didn't see the fusion core, which is a little bit scary, but he did see the second starport, and hopefully he notices that. That can be something that slips your mind, but there we go. I love it. 2 spores in each base. 2 spores, Papi, and non-stop queen production. We need anti-air desperately, otherwise 2-port BC can just end the game. Oh. Alright, here we go. We do have those BCs on the way, by the way, 2 at a time, and usually this is supposed to be a surprise factor, right? Especially because, if you remember, we had a Viking opener from Akon. The first Viking is out on the map, and he was hunting down overlords. If he had kept these depots up and running, then Peppy would have had a very hard time scouting and a very hard time figuring out what exactly was going on. But alas, we even already have a Spire on the way. We have our Lair. We're delaying our Evo chambers. We have a Roach Warren. Why do we have a Roach Warren? Well, typically because BC openers lead into mech, and Peppy is fully aware of that. So he's getting ready for the BCs, he's getting ready for the mech, he's getting ready for the Hellions. He's doing everything that he needs to do to prepare. We have a little bit of Viking harass, which is really cute. But the Lings are here, the Queens move in position as well. The Vikings sustaining a lot of damage. Viking barely getting away here. Yeah, I don't see how Peppy is gonna take too much damage and too many losses unless he's out of position. Looking at the units tab, we have 8 queens. We could do with more. Yeah, we're about to have, there we go, 2 BCs teleport into the main base of the queens, have to reposition the queens. We're out of position because of that Viking, and we actually don't quite have the creep connecting the bases here in the end, but there we go. We have plenty of energy for transfuse. Lings are a little bit in the way. The first spore is going to go down, but very little economic damage. Looking at the units lost tab, we have lost 3 drones this game, and 2 of them were to the first Reaper. So very nice defense here by Peppy. I also love that Peppy didn't overextend with his expansions. If he did have a 4th base at his triangular 3rd, then he would have a hard time rotating between the bases, and he would be spread thin, to be honest. So I do appreciate that he's playing this out a little bit more conservatively. He's staying on 3 bases. He's looking to slowly expand over time, doesn't want to rush things, knowing this is that his opponent's on 2 bases. There we go. There is our 4th. We do have a couple of corruptors chasing these BCs down. It looks like they will get 1 at the same time. Hellion run by at the 3rd, but the Lings are here to meet them. It looks like 3 drones are going to get roasted here, but not before the Lings clean everything up. 5 drones in total. Meanwhile, across the map, ooh, both BCs get hunted down. A very expensive loss. A loss that just isn't worth it here. Those BCs got a drone and a spore. That is actually it. That is all they got for their lives. We have 2 more BCs moving out across the map. Back at home, we see the production, and Peppy knew it. We knew it. It is mech. We have 2 more factories on the way. That is just kind of how the direction of this kind of tech path of this opener. And I love that Peppy, he's just camping the bases of Acon. He is making sure that no 3rd base will be taken. BCs move out once again towards the 4th base. They're going to be able to catch some, not even. Oh my god, Peppy quick to respond with his transferring drones. He will not lose a single worker. BCs forced to teleport back home. Again, beautiful defense here by Peppy. He's going to be able to drone up. He's going to be able to get his 4th base up and running, up to 80 workers. Upgrades are on the way. You could argue, hold on, aren't these upgrades late? Kind of, but at the same time, he's not behind Acon. Because of Acon's opener, his own upgrades are delayed as well, just now starting 1-1, later than that of Peppy. So again, Peppy recognizing his priorities, recognizing what he does have to prioritize and what he can leave to the wayside, not falling behind in any aspect. Meanwhile, 3rd base is now being taken here by Acon, but Peppy has eyes on this. He's looking. He's ready to try and intercept Ravagers. Sorry, Roaches morphed into Ravagers. We have a couple of Widowmines to defend, and the Widowmine shots are going to be key here. They are going to be crucial with whether or not Acon can hold. If they go off on these Corruptors, it's very possible that the BCs and Vikings will be able to shut down the Corruptors, and then the BCs can clean up everything else. We do have a couple of Cyclones on the ground. We do not have Macfield, though. We do not have upgrades. Oh my god! The Hellions, they run face first into those Banelings. Widowmine shots are going to go up on the Banelings themselves. Not bad Widowmine shots, but the target firing is just a little bit too good. The first BC goes down. The 2nd BC gets targeted down as well. And that is it. Everything here will fall. The Biles will connect as well on the SCVs. GG gets called, and Peppy takes the series 2-0. GG. GG. Well played. Peppy will take it. I loved the moves by Acon. I love that he was looking to mix things up and go into 2-port BC. It is something that has been raising in popularity recently, and it's really cool to see that Acon is even adopting it. It does show that Acon is keeping up with current meta, but the execution was a little bit lacking, specifically when it comes to hiding his build and making sure that his defenses are solid back at home. You could argue that moving out with his Hellions was a greedy move when you're going for something that has to be safe and secure, and you don't have a wall at your natural. You could argue that, okay, keep your Hellions at home instead. Be hyper vigilant about denying scouting, because your win condition isn't your Hellions harassing across the map. It's making sure that the starports never get scouted. And with that, GG, well played. Let me just message the tournament admin. Peppy will move on in his brackets. And Peppy moves on to face Oreo. Oh boy. The matchup that I was dreading, not gonna lie. Oh boy.